Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing the Last Oricru and I'm going to be showing you the top 4 best static block shield. So basically these are going to be shields that for one reason or another they can't parry. Usually it's a special attack, but whatever the case may be. So they're very good at static attacks. And now mind you, some people will say, well, you're going to want to use a parrying shield anyway. If you never parry, there's no reason to focus on parry-specific shields, so you might as well focus on ones that are going to give you some sort of other benefit. So with all that in mind, unfortunately, this isn't a location guide, since, well, 2 reasons. One of which being pretty much everything in this game is random, so it would be hard for me to show you it anyway. And the other one being that even if it wasn't random, or I did know a specific location that I could show it to you, there's no map. So I would have to literally just show me walking from one static point to the location where I found the thing, and then hope that that made sense to you. So it's a bad game design. Don't blame me, blame the developers. With all that in mind, if it can be purchased, it'll be in this square where I'm at now. So I'm in the main city, and you can see there's a number of stores around me. This one right in front of me here, this one right here, that blacksmith there. There's a tavern in the left corner right there in front of me. He sells stuff. There's a Ratkin trader here that sells stuff. And then there's a store down at the end of this road. You can see next to the little yellow barrier. If you look right above my head right here, there's this taller building here. That has another trader in it. So if it can be purchased, almost certainly it's going to be from one of these traders. So once you've reached this point in the game where you can freely roam around this town, check them out and you'll probably be able to buy some of these things. But with that in mind, other than that, you're going to get them by killing enemies that will drop it. So let's just start it off with number 4. And at number 4, we have the Adorned Shield. So this one has some advantages to it, but just as it goes, it's not the best shield in the world, but it did take the number 4 spot on my list, so what are you going to do? For stats to pay attention to on this one, we have 1.3 for the weight, so not very heavy. No strength or dexterity requirements to use it, but it does have a requirement of 4 intelligence to use. I would say pretty attainable. This one, well, I'll quick read the shield thing, which will hold true for all the shields in this video. So it says, these shields are handy protection for any adventurer. They offer 100% coverage against arrows and bolts, but not bullets. Certain strong attacks indicated by a red color can break the block with the shield. They can be used to parry unless they have some sort of other special power. So this one has a passive boost that is nice. It gives you plus 10 health for your max health, so that's nice, especially early game. You get that nice health boost. We do just have the static block for this one. No parry, but it can heal you, which is why I like this one and why it took the number 4 spot on the list. So for 10 mana, you can heal yourself 115. So I find this one to be pretty useful for the melee combatant out there, because you can, instead of, you'd use your, if you're using a controller, it would be your R2 or your, or not R2, it would be your L2 or your, on like a PlayStation controller, or your left trigger on an Xbox controller. And that'll heal you 115 points, which is really nice. I think that comes in handy. Outside of that, we have an average block for this one of 55.83. That being said, the average is just brought down because it has 0 defense against fire or lightning. Your arrows, you get 100% blocking for, which is nice. Crush, 68%, which is okay. Thrust, 91%, which is really good. And swing of 76. So pretty good defense against your melee attacks. Great against arrows and bolts. Doesn't block bullets. And this one, unfortunately, has no defense against fire or lightning. But like I said, you can heal with it. So your static block is just going to be like that. And then your special attack, or whatever you would call it with this, you just do it like that and you quickly heal yourself. So pretty sweet shield. I really like it, and it takes the number 4 spot for static blocking shields. All right, so for the number 3 spot, we have the Fire Deflect shield, which you can see I'm wielding here. It's kind of like a kite shield style, but a little bit more wonky and fantasy looking. This one is a quest reward that you can get by helping out the, well, this guy over here, the guy running this tavern here. I believe his name is Cyrus. Yes, Cyrus. You'll first run into him in the fort when you leave the monastery. And he'll ask you to do tasks for him and tell you stories about his buddies and stuff like that. And if you help him and agree to be the Queen's champion, he'll give you the shield, and it's a pretty sweet shield. It's got real nice stats, and it is totally free, you know, so you can't really beat that price. Stats on this one, weight of 1.3, nothing crazy there. Our average block is 81.66 on this one, so significantly higher than the last one. This one really is only brought down by the fact that it doesn't block any lightning. It has 100% fire blocking, which is really nice. 100% against arrows, 90% against crush, which is pretty good, and 100 against swing and thrust. So just a really good static block shield. Great against fire, which is a sweet added advantage that not every shield has. Doesn't block 100% of crushes, but 90% is still pretty dang good. Only weak point is going to be your lightning on this one. This one has your static block, and then our special ability here is the reflect magic thing, which if you time it successfully will reflect magic projectiles, which can be really, really powerful if you're fighting a strong mage type enemy. So as far as what that looks like, the static block here just obviously looks like a regular shield. And then our deflect magic is just a little quick ring thing. And so if you time that correctly so that it's in its apex right when the magic attack is about to hit, it will actually deflect that magic attack back, and it deals substantial damage if you do that. So this shield is pretty sweet. It's one of my favorites in the game. It looks a little weird, but performance-wise, it's hard to beat. So the Fire Deflect shield takes the number 3 spot. All right, so at number 2, we've got a unique shield, the Plasma Shield, which is this cool little buckler shield kind of style thing, but it's obviously made out of plasma, which I hope not, because that would be cutting off my arm, because plasma is, superheated material. But anyway, it's an energy shield. Stats on this one, it does not have a strength or dexterity requirement to use it, but it does have an intelligence requirement of 5 to use it. It has the static block, and then the draining hook is our special attack. So if you hit your left trigger or your L2, you're going to do the draining hook, which does 163 damage. And it says, throw a heavy punch to drain even more enemies' life and convert it to even more mana. So this one is nice to go with mage type builds, or any type where you're using an attack that uses mana for your primary weapon, because you get to hit someone with it, and you do 163 damage to them, and you steal that life and convert it into mana for yourself. So it's just a really good shield for a lot of different builds. I love it for mage builds, but it also works with hybrid builds. Our average block on this one is going to be 86.16, so similar to the Fire Deflect shield, but our only weak area, we don't have a totally weak area with this one. We've got lower for your melee type damages, so swing, thrust, and crush. Swing being 70, thrust being 84, and crush being 63. None of those are top tier, but it does decently well against those type of attacks. Arrows still blocks 100%, but where we have a nice strong one here is that 100% fire and lightning protection. Well, that and the draining hook. So the plasma shield is pretty sweet. Static block looks normal like that, but then our draining hook is that just hitting attack. So when you're nice and close to an enemy and you can hit them, you bop them with that, and it's going to drain their health and give you mana. So it's the definition of a win-win, especially for a mage build. So that's number 2. Let's move on to number 1. Oh, before we move on to number 1, you get this one at the island. So once you make it to the island inside the facility, I don't want to spoil too much stuff, this one will be something you can find on the ground in there. I wish I could show you the exact location, but again, I can't. So look for it in there. Otherwise, if you're going to look for a random loot drop, corrupted type enemies are going to be the way to go. So that is the plasma shield. All right, and so at number 1, we've got the best one, and also my personal favorite for the static block shields, the protector shield, which you can see I've got on me here. It's a big old kite shield kind of style thing, not quite, but pretty dang close, with a big sword right down. It looks really cool. I like the shield. It looks awesome. Very traditional knight style. As far as stats on this one go, we've got a weight of 1.9, no strength or dexterity requirements to use it, but it does have an intelligence requirement of 6 to use. You can see we've got the static block and a heal ability, so much like the adorned shield, this one can also heal you. It's going to be 12 mana to cast this one, but it does 163 points. So again, very useful during a fight. You can heal yourself for a bit of mana. It's less useful for mages, more useful for melee type combat, because in melee you're not using mana nearly as much, and you could usually use a little bit of healing. Our average block on this one is rather high, giving us probably the best overall protection for static block shields. So our average block is 92.83, but that comes from 95% swing block, 100% thrust, 85% crush, 100% against arrows, 100% against fire, and 77% against lightning. So excellent shield, works great for any type of knight or even a hybrid knight build. You have the ability to heal with it, and it just gives you really good protection. So again, static block, we've got a nice coverage area, and then our heal is just a quick little thing that's going to trade some mana for some health. So great shield, I love it, and that is all 4. So as far as getting a hold of this one, again, it's going to be dropped by your humanoid type enemies, and if it can be purchased somewhere, it's from one of these traders here. All right, I just double checked, and no, you cannot cannot purchase this one from any of the traders here, which I thought was the case. But the Adorned shield, the one that I showed first, can be purchased from the blacksmith here. So if you want a shield that can give you that heal, even though it's not quite as good as this one, you can purchase the Adorned shield from him. But with all that in mind, that is all today, all for today. That's the top 4 best static block shields in the game. I hope this video was useful and entertaining. If you have any of these shields and you were just wondering if there was one out there that was better, or whatever the case may be, hopefully this video cleared things up for you. If there's any static block shields that you think are better than these ones that I've showed, let me know about them down in the comment section below. But in any case, thanks a ton for watching and have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.